Okay, let's get first reactions that are coming in. Rahul Narendra Taneja of the BJP is joining us. Rahul Srivastav, our National Affairs editor, is also with us at this moment. Narendra Taneja, your first reactions to what you heard from the Prime Minister. We are not clear what this 20 lakh crore package will be about. Will it subsume existing packages? Who will it be directed towards? Only broad contours provided. Are we to now expect that come tomorrow, Nirmala Sitharaman will announce this package? And does it include existing schemes that are already there for pro-poor schemes? Is this going to be something specific post-corona? We have no clue.
Rajdeep, since the coronavirus, the world has changed. The world order in a way has begun to change. This is basically going to prepare India in order to get to meet with those challenges. At the same time, tap into new opportunities. But as the Prime Minister said, they're also throwing up new opportunities in terms of self-reliance. India participating in the global supply chains.
But what does self-reliance mean, sir? I want to understand. We've already had Make in India. What does self-reliance mean? I just want to understand. What is your understanding of this 20 lakh crore economic package? Is it existing schemes or is it a new scheme?
Rajdeep, first, self-reliant is very simple. So that we can, whatever we need to kind of, manufacture in India, we do that. At the same time, we emerge as a major player in the global supply chains, which are been so far dominated only by one country, which country I'm referring to. Coming to your second point, you see, Prime Minister has already indicated in terms of manufacturing, there's self-reliance. In terms of agriculture, in fact, one of the first items he mentioned was agriculture. How can we make the entire ecosystem of agriculture infrastructure, rural infrastructure self-reliant, and at the same time benefit from the, this 20 lakh crore.
Mr. Taneja, I want to know from you whether this 20 lakh crores includes the 4.5 lakh crores that the RBI has already announced as excess liquidity, because if it does, then that takes a certain percentage away. So is this on the back of all of RBI's announcements and therefore as an aggregate? Because excess liquidity is not necessarily a package. That's the RBI's announcement. A lot of the liquidity is just lying with the banks, lying with the RBI. No, because of the debt phobia that's rising, nobody's willing to take credit at this moment. So how does this figure of 20 lakh crores get arrived at, sir?
Rahul, first of all, RBI is an autonomous organization. What they do, initiative that they come out and the announcement they make, those are independent of the government. But you will have to wait for the details. But the Prime Minister has basically given the few important leads: agriculture, manufacturing, exports, and information technology, and all those things that he has already given. But you have to wait for for
let
the
me
details.
take that. Let me therefore take what you are saying to Rahul Srivastav. Rahul, is this going to be a fresh 20 lakh crore package, or does it subsume the original 1.7 lakh crore that was announced in early April? Then there was, as Rahul says here, a 4.5 lakh crore package through the Reserve Bank, and whatever now comes out from Nirmala Sitharaman will be an additional package. And will it be across the board, not just at MSMEs?
Rajdeep, we had reported on Saturday that the package that the government is likely to announce in this week may include several elements. One, MSME, that will be taking care of what is being called as the financial relief element for the MSMEs, that through a credit guarantee system, the government will stand in for 20% of the credit limit of the MSMEs as a guarantor, so that banks can start lending, and these MSMEs, which are largely viable, will be able to start their operations. There will be also some kind of a support for the workers, and that's what the Prime Minister talked about in terms of demand and supply. If you are creating supply by making MSMEs operational, you have to create demand by putting money in the hands of the people so that they can eventually buy the products which are being manufactured. We had also talked about reforms coming in for the several sectors, so that India can benefit from the industry which is migrating away from China. There is also, he also talked about help for the poor. Now, when you ask me that is that part of the old packages will be part of it, Rajdeep, the last package was a lot about livelihood, not livelihood, but about food grain and actually help people survive. This is less about survival. This is more about revival. And this demarcation in which the Prime Minister, when he talks about 20 lakh crore rupees for a package, it is going to be spread over various elements. It will be
So will it
announced
be
in
one?
pa-
Will it
in
be one
phases.
package to be announced tomorrow,
No,
or will
it
it be a
won't,
series
because
of packages over a period of
I
time?
just received word from the finance ministry that there will be multiple announcements.
Multiple
It's not one,
announcements.
there will be
Yes,
announcements
Rajdeep,
over
this
days.
is exactly what
Okay,
we had
so what
announced
we can
earlier
expect
also,
tomorrow
that
is
there will be
MSMEs?
Various in phased manner.
So we expect the MSME package tomorrow. Is that the expectation now?
Rajdeep, what we know that the MSME package and the support for laborers package is totally ready, and that package can, if some elements need to go to the cabinet, Prime Minister may call a cabinet meeting tomorrow and clear them, and the announcement may come as early as tomorrow, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Because I think he mentioned the word kal. I heard him very specifically
That
say
Nirmala
kal.
will announce
that there will be kal aap sunenge. So we expect at least the first package in a way to be announced tomorrow. But as Rahul is very importantly pointing out, it will be a series of packages. It won't be one big bang. That big bang announcement of the big number has been made today, the headline number. The details are going to be critical.
So
that is the critical element.
We've now been able to pull out, because remember, when we did the same graphic earlier, many in government and in the BJP said that this is not a fair comparison, but they obviously took it very seriously, because now in the global context, they've put that data out, and I want to show it to our viewers. Now remember, this is a calculation, the basis of which is a study by a Columbia University professor. We have very quickly taken the India GDP numbers from what the Prime Minister said, thrown it back into the study, and here is what it looks like. The COVID stimulus package as announced, now as I'm saying this, the first time we are putting it on our screen, so be mindful of that. Secondly, we don't know the specific details and how the maths adds up, but this is what we know at this time. Japan's total stimulus is 21.1% of its GDP. The United States' total stimulus is 13%, Germany 10.7%, India now 10%. Our last package was 1.7%, so way lower than China, which was at 3.8%. The Prime Minister's big thrust here seems to be that this is one of the biggest stimulus package, and given the kind of countries that have given a bigger package than India and their level of economic development, you can see that that's true, because you've got Germany, USA and Japan ahead of us, whereas India has now a 10% of its GDP. And that's a big package. This is by Saihun Elgin, Rajdeep. He's a professor at Columbia University. He's on the basis of that study.
Just one qualification, of course, that we will have to weigh. Two problems. One is the resource problem. Where are the resources coming from, which will always be asked. Number two, we have to see the detailing of the package to see whether it is a stimulus package, Rahul, of the kind that we are talking about, or something that will be distributed, as I said, over a period of time. Let's go over to Rajiv Gowda of the Congress, who's joining us, and Rajesh Tope, the Health Minister of Maharashtra. First, Rajiv Gowda, since you follow the economy closely, give us your reactions. The Congress party has been calling for this stimulus package. The Prime Minister hasn't given us the details. He's given us the overall big number, which is 20 lakh crore, which, as Rahul said, is substantial because it is 10% of GDP. Are you convinced about these numbers?
First, I'm glad that the government has finally woken up and announced some kind of a package. What the actual numbers are, that, of course, is going to be in the details. And given this government's track record, even the last package that they announced, you saw that the overall new spending was not what they announced, but actually only about a third of that. So basically, once again, we need to see what are the components. I mean, I welcome a package 50 days after we've been into this lockdown, and after many people, including Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party leadership, have all asked and specified different ways in which we need to urgently reach out to people who are in trouble, to MSMEs to keep the economy alive. Numerous suggestions have come in from every stakeholder, and what we need to see now is where is that money coming from? How is this being financed? What jugglery is actually going on?
But if you're looking for the hidden message in what the Prime Minister said, and you're looking for something positive to latch on to, keep in mind that what the Prime Minister said on infrastructure, manufacturing, land and labor, and we've already seen some of it play out in states like Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat, where land laws, labor laws have been changed. We could have in this crisis pushed through some very substantial structural reform. We don't know the exact contours of that reform, but Narendra Taneja, is that really the big hope, the hidden message that we are pushing through once-in-a-generation reforms have been pending for the last several years, which have been spoken about, but we never had the courage to push through? There's a bullet, we've bitten that bullet and we've pushed it through. Is that what will play out over the next few days?
Well, Rahul, if you Prime Minister used this word reform several times, if you say it carefully. I mean, basically, number of areas where we need to push through the reforms with the stimulus package that the Prime Minister has already announced. And, which means that, we have to basically carry the entire economy in that direction so that A, economy can become more self-reliant, B, it can be more productive, and C, at the same time, be a bigger player in the global, economic system. So these are, short-term, medium-term, long-term objectives in the whole thing. I think the Congress spokesperson call it jugglery or whatever he wants. That's not the issue. Issue is that here it is a moment when the Prime Minister has made it very clear that yes, there are crises, but we are looking at an opportunity. The crisis also give us an opportunity so that we can completely change the economic landscape in terms of reforms, in terms of infrastructure. We pointed out also in terms of giving a completely new place to India in the global economic system.
Of course, all those challenges. Remember, the Prime Minister tried land reform 6 years ago, soon after he came to power, didn't succeed. He's pushed ahead tentatively through states with labor reform. Now, most reforms in India have taken place during crises, stretching back to 1991. To that extent, will the Congress, Mr. Gowda, support the Prime Minister? Should he go in for major land reform, for example, tomorrow? Would you, not tomorrow, but in the future, that's what he's spoken about as one of the pillars of building this self-reliant India?
What we need in terms of land is to ensure that whose land it was, that those people are fairly compensated. That is exactly the spirit. Are you opposing that? Is the BJP opposing that? No. We want to make sure that you give the compensation to the people who are losing the land and ensure that that is available for development of various kinds. When you talk about labor reform, what do you mean? Are you doing anything for migrant workers? Are you ensuring that their concerns, that their social security safety net is also built in? Or all that you're celebrating is 12-hour work days for 7 days a week for workers?
The Prime Minister mentioned Mr. Gowda. He said, one minute, Mr. Gowda. Mr. Gowda, Rahul Gandhi today, just before the Prime Minister spoke, said 7,500 per person must be given to those below a certain income level, direct transfer of cash. The Prime Minister didn't mention anything about direct cash transfer, but he did mention that those poor who are hurting, including Reda Patriwalas, including those who carry handcards, I want to support them all. Therefore, I am presuming that the Prime Minister intends to announce, and that's why there is a question mark over detailing, for informal sector labor also some kind of package that will provide them social security. I presume that the opposition will support that.
Absolutely. I look forward to the details.
Okay, you look forward to the devil may lie in the details, so we have to wait for the details. We've got one more guest also joining us. Rajesh Tope is the Health Minister of Maharashtra, because the second pillar which everyone was waiting for is what happens to lockdown. And the Prime Minister has said there will be lockdown 4.0, the details of which will be announced by the 18th of May. Mr. Tope, you are the Maharashtra Health Minister. It's the worst affected state with corona in the country. Are you fully supportive of an extended lockdown?
Yeah, of course, my Honorable CM also has a view that in the containment area, especially the zones, there should not be any release of lockdown at all. Basically, we are also of the opinion that because of the lockdowns which we had previously, 2-3 lockdowns, so because of that only we could control whatever are the numbers. Otherwise, it would have gone haywire. And so we are of the opinion that the total lockdown cannot be open. It should be open only in a staggered manner.
So what about Mumbai? Very quickly, Mumbai, do you treat the entire city of Mumbai after the 17th as a containment zone? Is that what Maharashtra would like? Or do you want red zones and within red zones only focus on containment areas?
Actually, all the business persons over there in Mumbai and the industrialists and across because Mumbai is approximately, as you know, that Rajdeep 1.35 crores.
Right.
So it is we cannot actually shut down Mumbai for another fourth lockdown for like the entire shutdown. I mean to say, we have to think like whatever are the containment zones. Apart from that, we should open in a staggered manner. That doesn't mean that we should disobey the principle of social distancing. We should adhere to that.
No,
and
You know,
for the
interesting,
safety of the
Rahul,
people.
that the Prime Minister has not yet given us details of what lockdown 4.0 will be. He's left that very open. He's also, in a sense, while he's told us the big ticket number of 20 lakh crore, still not told us how it's going to be built. So I think
there is an inherent contradiction there, Rajdeep.
Yes.
The contradiction is this. On the one side, you're saying you want to build self-reliance. So manufacture in India for India.
Yes.
Secondly, you're saying you want to be part of the global value chain. So as their global supply chains being reordered, manufacturing moving out of China, you wanted to come to India, presumably so that some of that manufacturing can then be used for exports abroad, apart from the domestic Indian market. Narendra Taneja, you understand the economy well. How do those two imperatives play out simultaneously? If the focus is on self-reliance, which presumably means that we'll see an increase in excise duties over the next few hours being announced, because that's how you can force manufacturing to come to India. So you're getting global manufacturing here, which is great. You want to be part of the global value chain, which is also a good idea. But then both of those, self-reliance and joining the global economy, how will they play simultaneously?
Oh, very simple. You see, Rahul, self-reliance means that we will actually not manufacture only for our domestic needs, but also for export. You know, self-reliance does mean that we shut all the doors and all the borders and all the shores. That's not what does it mean. It only means that, you know, whatever we can manufacture, we can produce, we will do it here. For instance, natural gas and oil, we will have to import because we are not blessed enough. For several other things, we might still have to import, and will be part of the global supply chain, an important player. You see, but self-reliance means that, but at the same time, what we can manufacture here, our preference will be to manufacture those things here. For instance, turbines, for instance, transformers, for instance, the IT equipment, and so, I mean, the list just goes on.
No, sir,
which
but
we have neglected in
Mr.
the past.
Taneja, sir, what has changed between Make in India and Atmanirbhar India? I'm just trying to understand. You know, Make in India was one of the Prime Minister's flagship schemes, and we all, you know, it is seen as something which is desirable, but at the end of the day, it hasn't really resulted in, you know, given us the due results. Let's be very clear. We haven't been able to successfully make it. The jury is out. Let's be honest. Jury is out on Make in India. It's not as if India has suddenly become a manufacturing and supply chain hub. That will require certain changes. You will require to create greater SEZs, give foreign companies the kind of benefits. I just want to understand, what is it going to change come tomorrow? What Rahul said, are we going to see major reforms now, structural reforms?
Rajdeep, first of all, SEZ is a totally different. Even China is being questioned. You don't necessarily need to, you know, set up SEZ. But the important point is, Make in India has come a long way. Let me give example of just on mobile phones. When we announced that, there were only 2 companies. Today, there are more than 100. More than 100. And even Apple phone, very soon you're going to get in your hand, is going to be made in India. And so many other things. If you allow me, I can give you the complete list. But the self-reliance means that there are many other things which we could actually manufacture in India, or we could produce in India, we can process in India, but we were not doing that. Our focus will now be, you know, after the major disruption you're going to see in the global economic order, and especially in terms of China being the sole guy, had the monopoly on the global supply chains, and that's going to be disrupted by Western countries.
All of this requires major systemic and legal changes. Are we going to see that happen?
Prime Minister
We saw it in
indicated
we saw it in 1991 when there was industrial and trade relicensing in the aftermath of the financial crisis we face now. Are we expecting now major big ticket reforms? Today the Prime Minister has only given a broad vision. He's left us tantalizingly short of details.
10 seconds. Radhi, 10 seconds. 10 seconds. You see, if you read the Prime Minister's speech...
Let's get a reaction from Rahul
Gandhi. Let's listen to him.
के लिए स्मॉल एंड मीडियम इंडस्ट्री को आप एक जल्दी से जल्दी पैकेज दीजिए। बच्चों को चोट पहुंचती है, मां रोती है। ऐसी कोई भी मां नहीं है जो जब अपने बच्चों के दिल में दुख होता है वो रोती नहीं है। आज भारत माता रो रही है क्योंकि भारत माता के करोड़ों बच्चे, बेटे बेटियां सड़कों पे हजारों किलोमीटर चल रहे हैं, भूखे प्यासे चल रहे हैं। मैं सरकार से विनती करता हूं, इनको आप घर पहुंचाइए, इनके बैंक अकाउंट में पैसा डालिए और इनके रोजगार के लिए स्मॉल एंड मीडियम इंडस्ट्री को आप एक जल्दी से जल्दी पैकेज दीजिए। बच्चों को चोट पहुंचती है, मां रोती है। ऐसी कोई भी मां नहीं है जो जब अपने बच्चों के दिल में दुख होता है वो रोती नहीं है। आज भारत माता रो रही है क्योंकि भारत माता के करोड़ों बच्चे, बेटे बेटियां सड़कों पे हजारों किलोमीटर चल रहे हैं, भूखे प्यासे चल रहे हैं। मैं सरकार
Did the Prime Minister do enough to address the migrant labor issue? Remember, this has been the one that we were expecting him to specifically refer to it, Rahul. While at times he did certainly accept that people were suffering, he didn't explicitly tell us about a specific package for migrant labor. Again, the details will perhaps be unveiled in the next few days. But that is, I guess, the other big challenge.
No, but there's a problem also. The Prime Minister gets too much into minutiae, then it becomes a virtual budget speech.
So he's decided not to get into the minutiae. He's given us the big picture, self-reliant India, and as you said, a new, I am promising new reforms, a new deal, but we need to see it. How do we judge the Prime Minister's speech till we've seen what the details are?
Because to implement what the Prime Minister has said will require over the next 72 hours very substantial announcements on some of the core structural reform that have been pending on land, on labor, on manufacturing. Can we push that through? And even if we do, Rajdeep, will anybody come at this time when the economy is already so distressed, capacity is already so much in excess? Will they come at this time, even if we make that offer? Remember, we reduced corporate tax cuts earlier, and that didn't really lead to the stimulus that the government was expecting.
Absolutely right. And I think therefore the challenge is in the detailing. Let's give you the headlines at this hour. You're joining our continuing coverage here on Prime Minister Modi's speech. Here are the headlines. The Prime Minister announces a 20 lakh crore economic package for